Hello everyone, today I'm going to be replacing my radiator in my 92 F150 with the 5-liter. I've got a new aluminum radiator that we'll be putting in here off of eBay from just some random seller. So hopefully it will work okay. To get this out of here, I'm gonna have to clip these. Normally there are bolts here that hold the fan shroud on, and you've got your transmission lines there, and then you've got two hoses that supply the coolant to the radiator, one here and then there's one down there. So we're going to loosen these up, the clamps on these hoses. Got a 5/16 socket to loosen these hose clamps. Alright, and then you also want to be careful if you've had this running. It's gonna be coolant, could be very hot, and it could be pressurized. I've already removed this cap. You want to make sure you remove that to at least relieve the pressure. All right, that one's off. And so now we should be able to get this out of the way to remove this fan shroud. I have removed what's securing the shroud to the radiator. We're also going to need to remove this engine fan, and there's 4 bolts holding this fan on, and they're all 7/16, so you're just gonna remove those and then this fan will come off. So we have unbolted the fan, so now the fan and the shroud will both come out at the same time. So now we've got that out. There's a lot more room to work in here. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen that, clamp up, and remove that hose down at the bottom. Now I'm gonna disconnect these transmission lines. This is a 1/2 inch. All right, I've got both these transmission lines disconnected. So now all we've got left is this overflow tube, and then this hose that goes to the throttle body, and it's going to be a 5/16 as well, I believe. Just a little hose clamp that we're going to remove. All right, so now we've just got these bolts that hold that line on top of this radiator, and then we can remove this radiator. These bolts up top are 5/16 as well, and I think normally these would already be removed because I believe that this is what the fan shroud is supposed to bolt to. Now we've got these 2 bolts that hold the radiator in. I got a 10mm on here. I think they're maybe supposed to be 3/8, but they're too rusty on mine. So I got an 11mm on there. So now this radiator should pull out. And you can see where it rests in there down at the bottom. So you just pull it out from where it's resting. And we're gonna need these from where we unbolted this and the fan shroud. And then we're also going to need to reuse these as well on the bottom side. This is where you slide the fan shroud into these, and this just holds the fan shroud in place on the bottom. So now we're just going to slide these onto the new one. Now I'm ready to slide this in there. It's obviously wider than the old one, so we'll see how it fits. Alright, I think it's gonna work. Yeah, those ears fit in there just fine, and then it lines up well enough with these bolt holes. So now we're ready to start hooking everything up. I'm going to start with these transmission lines to see if I can just bolt these directly to them, or if I need that extra piece that was still attached to the old one when I took it out. Well, actually, first I'm going to bolt this down so that it's not flopping everywhere. You're also going to need to swap these bushings over from the old one. Alright, it looks like this is going to work. It's flared, obviously, so I want to take off that old one, the little fitting on there, and see how that looks. I don't want to get this all done and then have this leak out of here because it needs that other piece. I think the thread is different on these two, and I think that this threads in better, so I think you are going to need this piece off the old one, because this one I can get it started, but it seemed like it was binding up, and I don't want to force it on there and ruin this. So I think this is going to go on there a lot. Yeah, this is going on a lot easier than that other piece. So you are going to need to take these pieces off of the old one and transfer them to this new radiator. Alright, I've got both those lines hooked up. I went ahead and threw this one on because it kept falling down and getting in my way. So next I'm going to go ahead and hook these radiator hoses back up, and it's shipped with these little covers, so you just take these little covers off and then you can put the hoses back on and tighten the clamps up. And I forgot to put the shroud back in before I hooked up this hose, but I think we can push this out of the way and get this all in there. There's definitely not as much space. I had to pull it back from where the fan pulley is. While editing this video, I realized I must have lost a couple clips towards the end, or I forgot to even record them. But you just gotta bolt the fan back on, obviously with those 4 bolts. This shroud, there's enough room for it. I just use zip ties to attach it back up, since the bolt, it's broken right there where it's supposed to bolt on. But also this didn't line up, so I used some zip ties to tie this up, and it is secure, so it should work, or it has been working. And fill this back up, and then you're done.